Hello everyone, hopefully everyone is good. Welcome back to another live stream here. Today we are back with the fourth round of the IRT Esports event. Today we're around Canada, of course the Canadian Grand Prix, and Montreal, a very iconic circuit for quite a while. Hopefully my connection lagging. Let me just, which I do not hope. Hopefully it's not lacking too much for the guys in the actual lobby. But yeah, hopefully everyone's good. Hopefully everyone's good. I'm enjoying the stream. Hopefully everyone's up for it. Of course we are back for the fourth round after a very intense Grand Prix around Jeddah, which saw NRL versus Relentless, a very close battle with Relentless taking the win eventually, with only a half-second difference, by doing so extending their gap as well to the lead of the championship. But here are guys on our outlap now. See on board with Ruti Gullit, who had I think a very good race last time out in Jeddah with a great comeback with his teammate Roby behind on the mediums. A very good looking livery right there, if I may add. But hopefully everyone's good in the chat. As now seeing ESWR JR starting his lap right now on the soft tires. Hopefully I will make it. Seep, you're just a Muppet, that's what you are. On board with JR now coming to turn one, bit wide there for the ESWR driver. Let me get the telemetry up or the lap data. It didn't invalidate with a 19.1 first sector. Of course, people just want to set their banker laps right now, not invalidate and put too much pressure on the second and final run. Yeah, I see invalidate actually. In the middle of sector 2, 40.7. Guessing it's gonna go straight in the pits as Felix Zone set the fastest time right now with 1:8.9. Update copying, right? Wait, what? I'm not sure what you're talking about, as now Ian goes fast with a 1.88. So he took personal pole right now. As Ruti Gullit now takes pole with a 1.18.7. So good time there. JR would have done a 9 flat, which would have taken him around Peterville. Pretty much same time. As Jeroen goes third fast with 1.18.8. So the times are very close right now. The drivers got to get used to the track. Of course, you don't see this track quite a lot for league races, as we've got a yellow flag. But I think that's Felix Zone getting out of the way. Indeed. Let's get a qualifying ban, for example. Which he did very well, I must add. Roby actually did his lap on the medium, so that's a pretty good time for him on the mediums. I know the mediums are not that quick compared to the soft tires in qualifying, but for the race they'll be pretty good. So if Roby can stay in the top 10 on those mediums, then he's looking in very good shape. But his goal is just to stay on track, because of course in Belgium he did have the pace, but unfortunately retired with an incident. So I think his goal is mainly just getting some decent points here for his team. CPI of course, as both LFR drivers are now 5th and 6th with Peterville and Arakov. I'm not sure what the delta is compared from the softs to the mediums, but I think Roby did a really good lap, only 8 tenths of the leader, and the softs providing so much more grip. This should be a battle between CPI, Relentless, but not ruling out ESW and Evora. Indeed, you should count out no one in this championship, because everyone's got a shot if you can stay clean and not get a penalty during the race, which is going to be very tough for this race, because you can cut a corner very easily, and then you're on 1-1 already for the race. And of course 3-1 gets you 1 3-second penalty. So the drivers who can stay the cleanest, yeah, and not get any penalties are likely to be the highest up in the standings at the end of the race, especially with the late safety car. That could really benefit into your favors here. So let's see who of the drivers can stay on track the most without getting warnings, of course, by extending. I think that the corners you're most gonna be looking for is, as you now go on board with, I think JR with, I think, cutting the inside there and the inside there is going to be quite dangerous already, as he's actually going for a set of mediums. Interestingly, this corner should be quite straight looking forward to it, or not too difficult to cut a corner. But especially the corners coming up now are going to be really difficult to stay clean for the race, as you can just slightly run wide and get a warning. And I know a warning can frustrate you a bit, so hopefully for the guys they can just stay clean and then stay composed. Also got the infamous Wolf Champions coming up any moment now, with Roby on his outlap, just starting his lap right now. The Wolf Champions, of course, caused by 3 world champions in 1999, when Schumacher, Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve, all of them crashed into that wall there, and hence why it's got called the name Wolf Champions. So there's your facts for the day. As Jeroen's got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. I'm not sure what happened there. Did he block off Ruti Gullit by any means? I'm not sure what happened there. But that's a 5-place grid penalty for Relentless. Of course, Relentless are the leaders of this of the standings right now. But this is not ideal for him, especially with the track being so tough to overtake on. So that's going to be interesting. So who's going to take advantage of it? As Lars is going to 6th place. So you had someone joining. So we've got 1 extra guy in the lobby right now, so that's also good to see. We're a little bit less than usual, as we're in the middle sector again with the Relentless drivers around there, causing some yellow flags maybe. You never know, as Ezra has joined. He can't set a lap since he joined later. So if we do see him go out, that might go out for a penalty, since we did inform the guys that they can't set a lap if he did join late. But anyway, we're in this qualifying session. So Roby has gone 2nd, completely missed that. So he decided to bin off the medium strategy and go for a set of softs, and now they're 1 and 2 for CPI. But only just ahead of Ian, who's on his lap right now, actually invading his run. Jeroen's also on his lap, a little bit down on his time, so hopefully he can look to improve in the middle sector. He's actually making a little bit of mistakes, so I don't think this is a valid lap, as he is. Oh, he's a little bit up actually on his time. With times being so close, every 10th can make the difference. What can he do in the final sector? How is he gonna go towards Wolf Champions here? Is he just gonna look to go for 3rd place, or is he gonna go for 1st? I think he's gonna go for 1st here, Jeroen, as he absolutely nails the final corner now. Coming to the line now, and he sets a 1.86. Very good lap there for Jeroen with the 5-place grid penalty, but he does have nearly a half a tenth advantage over Ruti Gullit, who also improved on his time. So CPI looking on it, and with Relentless having a penalty, about up to 4th, this could be a good chance for CPI to get a lot of points into the championship. It's going to be a very close call. Mate, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. As well, Arakov invading on the final corner would have been an 8-9, which would have brought him to P6. just ahead of Felix Zone, but of course if we invalidate, the lap won't count. Marty, an actual IRT driver who can make it on time for the session, in P10 right now with a 9.2 thousandths of loss, who managed to make it in time, thankfully. Yeah, times are indeed, like we saw last week, very close. With Ian made a mistake, did invalidate on his run, but still had a massive tank slapper, it seems. Jeroen now going to pits. There's 6 minutes left for this qualifying session. Als nou Ruud Gillik was fastest, with a 1.8 or 1.84 now. Great lap there for Ruud Gillik, having a 2/10 advantage. So great lap there. Did he do it on a used set of tires? Let me check now. Can we check that? I don't think we can, but here are the gaps to the leader. It's got nearly a 2/10 advantage over Jeroen and 3/10 over his teammate. So great lap there for Ruud Gillit. So now see everyone's pretty much on their in lap now, preparing for the final runs. So also Marty's going into the pits. We haven't seen so far in which box everyone is located in. Of course, since Codemasters haven't added that mode, as we see a LFR driver combined together with Marty, so he's got to be aware of that. So, of course, this does change strategy since the Codemasters haven't added a mode yet where you can select who you want to be together in a box. So drivers have to be aware when to make a pit stop and who is your teammate in game, so you don't have to double stack. Another strategy call coming in here, of course. Drivers have to be aware of that. As now Roby is invalidated on his run, probably invalidated in turn 3. Going for a second run. 5 minutes left of this qualifying session. And Wu can make the biggest jump here, as we're now on board with Lars, starting his run right now. In 9th place right now for the BNLRA team. Improving by 2/10. Good sector 1 so far. Can he keep this momentum for the middle sector? As he goes a bit wide into the wall, and that gives him damage. Welcome to the stream, Leslie. As you just saw Lars going into the wall, especially, and he had a 2/10 advantage after sector 1, so he's going to be kicking himself, but there's still enough time left to get a final run in. Now Felix Zone's going out for another run, as now Roby is set up for his final run in this qualifying session, most likely. Going to turn 1 and 2, slightly on the grass, but so far so good. Didn't invalidate, looks very close to the wall there. Going to the absolute limit here. Improving slightly, was potentially more time in there, but he's doing so far well. He's hitting the wall again, so a bit scruffy there from Roby so far. As he's doing pretty well in the middle sector. He's about a 10th away from Jeroen, who is a 5 place grid penalty. He isn't improving. Roby is not improving. Quite a way off his teammate, Ruud Gillit, who did a great lap there with a 1.84. But it's all to play for still in the final sector. How much is he going to risk? Is he going into the pits potentially for a final run? He is going into the pit, so he thinks better of it. He's looking to get one more run in, as he didn't improve by much. So switching now on board to Felix Zone, who's done a 1.8.9, about half second away from the leader, but still in P6. So what can Felix Zone do for NRL? Let's hit the wall there. Probably picked up some damage. Let me check on board, and visibly not, but I think he picked up some damage. He is improving though, so what can Felix Zone do? Despite maybe a slight bit of damage. Trying to pick up a little bit of slipstream from Wouter, who's in P4 right now, as he's invalidated. Like we said in this stream, if you just run slightly too wide in that turn, you can invalidate. So that's his run done for sure at least, but he can go for a second one. As Peter Vol's on lap, JR's on lap, Marty's on lap. Final runs coming in now, left, right and center here for this Canadian Grand Prix in the IRT League, as Peter was improving by nearly 2 tenths. Good sector 1 for him so far, and still plenty of time to find in the middle sector here. On board with the LFR driver. Got a podium I think last week, or at least a 4th place, so very good start for him and LFR. And he's improved by nearly 4 tenths, which brings him nearly to the top here, around 2nd place where Jeroen is. So great times from Peterville. Can he keep this up into going to the Wall of Champions? As he's done pretty well, it's overstayed a little bit. No invalidation. Coming to the line now, it will be a 187, which brings him around 3rd place ahead of Roby, but behind Jeroen, so he did lose a little bit in the final sector. As Jeroen was at 10th up, it seems like, but now is backed off, going for a 2nd run. But remember, he does have the 5th place grid penalty. Ian retires from the qualifying session, not sure what happened to him. So Peter falls right now in a provisional 2nd place, unless 5-6 other guys can jump ahead of him. Ian did, not sure if he did retire on track, but he did go into 6th place ahead of Felix Zone. So both NRL drivers 7th and 8th. Also Ruud de Gillet improves by his advantage by another 10th. Now 3 tenths ahead of Jeroen. What a great lap there from Ruud de Gillet. Seems to be on it for this qualifying session. What a lap there. As Siep has made it. Congratulations to Siep. Thankfully he made it in, as the qualifying session just finished. But what a lap there from Ruud de Gillet. 3 tenths advantage ahead of Jeroen, who's actually on a lap ahead of him just now. But what can other guys do? Lars goes into 3rd place for the 187, so pushes Peterville down to a professional 3rd place. And Jeroen is improving by another 3 tenths. It's going to be really close for this qualifying session. Can he beat Ruud de Gillet's amazing lap with a 183? Class of the field so far. Going to the Wall of Champions, what can Jeroen do? Is he going to invalidate? Wout up to 3rd place. Great final sector so far from Jeroen. Going to the line now. 6, 7, 8. Takes, oh my goodness, 20 thousandths of Ruud de Gillet, but it's slightly too far away still. I think we're gonna have, we're gonna check the final runs. Arakov on the alternative strategy in P11 so far. Timo going to the line now, but not improving. So I think that will be pole position for Ruud de Gillet for CPI. Great lap. Amazing lap there from Ruud de Gillet. Absolutely amazing lap. Jeroen tried it all. We saw it in that finals corner. But he did very well there. But that does mean Jeroen will start in 7th place. So from Ian onwards, we'll move up bumper position. So we'll have Ruud de Gillet on pole position. With Wouter in 2nd. Lars in 3rd place for the BNRA team. Peterville in 4th place. Roby in 5th. Ian in 6th. Jeroen in 7th. Then we got Timo in 8th still. Felix on 9th. Apsi in 10th. Arakov on the alternative strategy in P11. JR in 12th. Also on alternative strategy. Marty, Old School, Carmen Rob, Siep and Ezra rounding out the grid with 17 drivers. Do have confirmation that one of the guys from BNRA team are missing right now, so this could end up with a penalty potentially. But interesting qualifying session with a lot of amazing times here. As you see, indeed, the confirmation with Jeroen's penalty, just so close. Those guys on the top, just quite a big way away from the guys ahead. And the midfield, just from 3rd place to 8th, just 10th and a half. So every corner can make the difference. But the race is going to be a completely different story here. Hopefully everyone's looking forward to it. We'll see you in a minute. Also, we're now back for this Canadian Grand Prix here. It looks to be quite sunny, but some clouds are in the air, but it looks to be a dry race so far. I'm not sure if it's going to be raining, but if you can get confirmation on that, on the weather. But for now we can enjoy the lovely weather here. Come Roberts saying he's very fast. Well, I'm not sure, mate. Unfortunately you're at the back, so hopefully you can make it up for the race. But glad to see you in the chat, and hopefully you can move forward a bit. As you can see now, the guys are lining up to the grid, making sure they're ready for the race, with a lot of fans coming out today to support these guys. And hopefully we're going to get an amazing race. With of course the qualification being so close, packed. And now on board with Rudy Gullit, we're going to now switch over to the details quickly on which tires everyone's starting on. As we see everyone outside the top 10 starting on the mediums, apart from Carvin, Rob and Ezra, who've decided to go for a set of softs and hard tires, interestingly. So they have an alternative strategy compared to the other guys. And of course the guys in the top 10 all have a set of softs on, since they qualified on those sets, which won't be a rule next year. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure how Comas are gonna bring that idea forward with of course the rule change with no so you don't have to qualify on that tire set in Q2. I do like the rule right now in the F1 game, where you just have to qualify with the top 10 still, but let's see how Comas are gonna get this done. But anyway, for the race right now, I think Rudy Gullit is looking very competitive. Wouter looks quite quick as well. Of course, I think he's a bit better in the race compared to qualifying. Last for the BNRL team is looking quite decent. But I'm going with who's going to win this race. Of course, this league has caused some chaos for sure, especially in Belgium. But I'm backing. I'm gonna back Lars for the BNRL team. I think he's gonna grab the win, even though Rudy Gullit is looking quite competitive right now for this race. I think Lars will win this race today, with Rudy Gullit just behind in second, and then Felix on in third place for the NRL team. Let me know your predictions right now in the chat. If you're of course watching the stream, like the stream if you haven't already, and let's get ready for this Grand Prix, as the guys have now lined up to the grids, switching to the leader now. Oh, quickly, also now waiting for Ezra. As now the guys are ready, and it's lights out, and away we go with a good start so far from Rudy Gullit, with Wouter followed close behind. The midfield battle looks quite close, with Pietervol are breaking himself nearly, but so far keeping or losing his position to Roby. Clean start so far for all the guys. Rudy Gullit keeping the lead, with Sieb dropping down to last place. As now we see loads of battles in the midfield, absolutely losing one position. Carvin Robin didn't make as much position as he could have. Timo and Jeroen are battling, with Jeroen going around the outside of Timo, it looks like. Great move there for the NRL team. Or Relentless, I'm sorry, Jaffa, you're watching. But great move there from Jeroen, as he's now trying to gain back to Pietervol. Pietervol seems to be a driver who's very fast in qualifying, but not able to match those times in the race. So hopefully he can do a bit better, as I think Timo pushed Jeroen here. These drivers really going at it for the start of this Grand Prix, but it's so far so good for Rudy Gullit, with Wouter following close behind. Gonna turn off the telemetry so no one can see it. As you're now seeing the gaps here, the interval here, with Roby very close to Lars, but Lars sticking behind Wouter as well. And you're God damn it. I see the pit stop strategy here right now. I'm trying my best, man. I'm trying my best. So now Rudy Gullit making a slight gap to Relentless Wouter. That's the correct driver and the correct team. So Rudy Gullit pulling away slightly here, and Lars also dropping slightly behind Wouter, and Roby following close behind. And like we said just now, Peterville just doesn't seem to match his race compared to qualifying, so he's dropping quite a bit behind, using a bit of ERS. And Jeroen has made a good start as well, so he's still very much in the battle here. But can he climb up all those positions to go ahead of Ruud Gullit? The Carmen Rob has overtaken Marty on those soft tires. Marty of course on the medium, so the softs are gonna provide some more grip for these early stages. There's now Wouter lasting the fast lap here, so the times are very close, especially with the slipstream effect and DRS being enabled right now. Ian moving behind Felix Zone, looks like drivers nearly making contact here. But Ian staying ahead for the moment. But Felix Zone proved to be aggressive, looking to move ahead of some positions. Maybe getting held up slightly here. Because now Sieb has moved ahead of Old School for the ESWR team. ESW School. And Ezra on those hards is just gonna have to stick behind and just be consistent, and those tires will come into play later on in the race. But anyway, switching back to the leader now. Ruud Gullit has got a pretty sizable gap right now, only 6/10, but still good enough to defend against Wouter, who's just sticking behind, saving his ERS. He's got more ERS than last at least, so as Wouter is using that DRS to the absolute effect here, closing right up to the back of Gullit here. Now Pete for 8/10 behind, but still in the DRS. Ian now staying the fast lap, so proves he's got a bit more pace, and Carmen Rob using those soft tires at the fast lap here, with Marty dropping out of 1 second now of Carmen Rob, so he's hoping to get within the 1 second window to use that DRS window again. But yeah, this race is going to be a DRS train once again, and the undercuts coming out in a couple of laps time. Of course, those fresh tires will prove a massive difference, so expect guys to pit a lot earlier than possible, because of course overtaking is so difficult. Obviously got a first penalty, with it being Carvin Rob, so he's gonna have a 3-second penalty. Of course, he is the first driver to get 3 warnings, and by doing so being penalized for the race. But Marty, he's pulling away from Marty, who seems to be struggling for the race. Of course, it's a very tough track this, so the drivers have to be careful not hitting the wall there, as Ruud Gullit is going to the absolute limit there. As Lars also, just great pace, as Jeroen now set the fast lap. Relentless Jeroen, by the way, let me correct myself of course. Relentless Jeroen setting the fast lap here, stuck behind Peterville, who's also in the DRS of Roby. Roby just sticking behind, thinking better of it, with CPI in such a good position, being first and fourth. These guys can just go help Josh. Now actually Roby picks up a penalty. Talking about Roby, has now picked up a penalty, just cutting the corner slightly too much and having a 3-second penalty. Especially being quite early on, it's going to be very tough to keep him hold on. So the guys behind are going to be managing that, of course, and going to be taking slightly less risk, as all the guys to I think about Adakov will move ahead of Roby if it stays like this, but I don't expect it to stay like this, the order. But that's 2 guys with 3-second penalties after 5 laps only, so expect more guys to get penalties. Now Peter was actually dropped 1 second nearly from Roby, so Peter again just doesn't seem to have the race pace, and Jeroen wants to get past him as quickly as possible, I think, to move ahead to Roby and help his teammate Wouter, so they can overtake CPI. But so far a pretty clean race so far. Drivers just sticking behind, taking better of it. Timo! As Timo has a massive moment there, I'm not sure what happened to him. But I'm not sure how he saved that, as Timo's actually got a penalty now, so Timo's race is going from bad to worse, being the 3rd driver to pick up a penalty. But what a save there. We saw on board with Ian that his car was nearly fully sideways, but somehow managed to save it. His car is on anything but rails right now, as now Seep becomes the 4th driver to pick up a penalty, a 3-second penalty as well, for cutting too many corners, as Jeroen is now so close to the back of Peterval here. Oh, being 2 tenths behind, using his ERS, it looks like he is indeed, and now moving up to 5th place. Good move there from Jeroen. Going to the back of Roby now. Peterval couldn't do much here. As Jeroen actually is the fast lap now, so that proves he's got really good pace. As now Old School becomes the 5th driver to pick up a 3-second penalty now. The penalties are flying in right now. So the guys, without any warning so far, are in good shape right now. But it's so easy to pick up a warning here. So the drivers have to be careful here to pick up not too many penalties. But yeah, the race is really opening up now after 7 laps. Battles are starting to fly in, and drivers going for overtakes. See, Timo is still in the DRS, despite his car being very loose, it seems, with that incredible save just a lap ago. As he's nearly hit the back of Timo. Ian, I think, has hit him now. I think Ian has picked up some damage potentially from Timo outbraking himself and was locking up here. Is he gonna get past? As Timo's light is flashing, so he's really used a bit of ERS here. As Ian now going side by side with Timo and making the move stick, it seems. And Timo had to cut the corner, but he is now behind Ian. As now Felix has dropped behind Adakov, it looks like. Indeed he has, so both NRL drivers doesn't seem to have the pace compared to last week. As of course, different drivers and drivers not particularly liking the circuit potentially, but NRL not in the greatest position right now, but there's still a very long race to go. So now we've got a spinner, it's Ian. Ian has spun from I think 7th place, having just passed Timo as well. That must be very frustrating for him. Now back in 5th or 14th between both IRT drivers of Seep and Marty, so it's not great for him. He must cool down his tires a little bit. But now, oh, Ezra. Oh my days, he did hit the wall there, Ezra. He was certainly very close. So now looking back to the lead battle here, it's still very close, but the top 5 are now pulling away from Peterval, who's 1.3 behind. As Jeroen is split in the pit lane, 5-second penalty for him. So that must mean he must serve for his next stop, as undoubtedly the guys will pit again. He's going for that undercut indeed. Is he gonna move ahead of the guys in the lead? What is Ruti Gullit gonna do now? But this does change the race slightly, but that undercut can make a big difference, as he's got clean air right now with JR at Felix spun. He's got no front wing here. Felix zone. Unfortunate for him, as he's lost his front wing, so not great for NRL. We said they were not in great shape, but with Felix Zone losing his front wing, his race is gonna be very tough now. But never give up. Now, did he spin again? No, he didn't. But now Peterval is 1.4 behind with Timo in the DRS. Seems to be fixing his balancing issues. As Ian picks up a penalty as well. I think I'm pretty sure 7 guys with penalties now. So the penalties are really coming in now. As Timo is now lining up Peterval, who's nearly 2 seconds behind Roby now. So really dropping a lot of pace right now compared to the top guys. As interestingly, the top guys have decided to stay out. So Jeroen has got 2 lap an undercut right here. Can he use that time to advantage? Can he move ahead of those guys in the lead? But he does have to pass the traffic here with Old School, Ezra, Marty, Seep, Carbon Rob, JR potentially as well. He's gonna have to pass all those guys who are on the alternative strategy here. So he's gonna make life difficult for himself, but undoubtedly he does have the pace, so I'm certain that he will make the moves possible with Old School being all over the track. Here, as Felix now in the pits, nearly a lap down, as all the guys in the lead are now going towards World Champions, and he's in turn 1, so he's got a very long race to go now, Felixo, but make sure to keep going, because there could always be a safety car, as Wouter is very close to the move here. Also we see a pitter, yeah, it's Wouter, so Renendez pitting earlier compared to the leaders. Does CPI have something else in play, with both of them staying out, and Lars as well? Lars in good shape here. Carmen Rob picking up another penalty, it seems, in 7th place right now. He's the first guy on 6 seconds of penalties. But Lars is doing a very good job. Ian's staying the fast lap with a 10.3, so he's going for the undercut. He is in P... check where Ian is. He's in P15. But interestingly, Jeroen has jumped ahead of Wouter, a second ahead, and Wouter was only about 3 tenths behind Ruti Gullit. So this does mean the undercut has certainly worked here for Jeroen and will undoubtedly move in the lead. So the best thing Ruti Gullit can do now is just stay out, extend his stint, and have fresh tires later on. As Ian picks up his second penalty as well, so he is the second driver on 6 penalties right now. As now Ruti Gillis goes into the pits with Lars following closely behind, and Roby as well. And Arkov completely butchering that corner and getting a 3-second penalty. So that's another penalty for another driver here. As we now got a spin, I think. I'm not sure what happened there. Did we completely miss that? He had yellow flags. I'm pretty sure it was one of the... I was covering Rob, I'm pretty sure, with a mistake there. Because he had an interesting line. He does have damage. I'm pretty sure. Did he spin into the Hall of Champions, giving them damage and then going into the pits? That must have happened for the team. As we're now moving up here now with Elafar Arkov taking the lead. First run on the alternative strategy with JR 3 seconds behind, and Seep now also 3 seconds behind, and then Marty another 4.5 behind him, and Ezra in P5 for the DRA team, but Jeroen is just so close behind. And like I said, the undercut has worked for those guys, as now Ruud Gullit is about a second behind. However, he does have a little bit of fresher tires than the Renandes guys. So his race not done yet, especially only being 2 seconds behind. And now Ezra is winning a full pit stop behind top guys, so he's hoping for a safety car to get back in the race. As now Roby is in P10 behind Lars still, so Lars is very close to Ruud Gullit here. Peterville battling with Old School, Old School also being a pit stop behind. With Peterville going around the outside, is this gonna end well? It does. So he's taken 11th place right now. And Old School just doesn't seem to have the pace compared to the other guys. Really holding up the guys. So now Marty is now dropped behind Jeroen. So Jeroen just shows how great of pace he does have. And Wouter just following behind. Marty can't do really that much. Staying on the racing line, but just getting out broken by Wouter here. So Rennes on a provisional 1 and 2. Seep has passed JR, and Seep actually closing the gap to Arkov, who was in the provisional 10th place. So Seep seems to be picking up some momentum here. As JR is going to the pits, he's done with the medium tires. So Seep, is he closing the gap to Arkov, who's in a provisional, I think, 10th or 9th place, so points are still possible here. But Jeroen, Wouter just having great pace here, so Wouter is looking good for the win here. As Ruud Gullit has not got past Ezra yet, just not being able to pass him just yet. Lars being close behind and Roby getting back into it. And this does give the opportunity to Peterville to close up slightly, with Ian also close behind and Timo in a battle still, so these guys are gonna have a battle for the rest of the race. And Apsi is close up to those guys as well, so he's looking to get some points for the NRL team, with Felixson being so close behind. Marty's going into the pits, so he's took a set of mediums, all forced another set of mediums. As now Rudiger has gone past Ezra, it seems, but proving to be difficult on traction. Ezra using ERS, but just does not have the DRS, so he's gonna get past by Lars now. What can he do? Saving ERS for the battle here between Rudiger and Lars. As Steve is now going to the pits, didn't speed, so good for him. As Felix picked up a 3-second penalty, and she spun. He's DNF'd. Is that gonna be a safety car here? And indeed it is! As we have a first safety car with Felix retiring from 17th in the middle sector here, which brings out the safety car. And that's very good for Arkov here, who stayed out and managed to get the very much a free pit stop. And that's literally the worst timing for Seed to make a pit stop, as literally the safety car came out once he was into the pits. But that does mean the field will bunch up, and like we said, if a safety car does happen, this is very good for the guys who have like no penalties yet. And could we see potentially Jeroen going into the pits and get a set of mediums on, so he can serve that 5-second penalty right now instead of later. That does mean he's gonna be in traffic, but it's gonna be interesting to see what he's gonna do. We can see indeed Arkov going into the pits, and indeed we see Jeroen serving that 5-second penalty. Didn't speed this time, so indeed I made a correct call right now, as he's going into the pits for a set of mediums, I'm guessing. He is. As now we've got guys double stacking. NRL pitting, Marty staying out. Of course he just pitted, so this does mean a bit of a shake-up in the field. But with the pits of Markov, this means he's now up to P5, so that staying out that period has really worked out for him. And he proves to have good pace, so he's gonna have fresher tires than the cars ahead, so he's in very good shape now. Oh my days, nearly Roby hitting the back of Lars here. I'm not sure what happened to the cars ahead, but the guys have got to make sure to be on one tempo during the safety car, so no collisions happen. With Roby nearly in the back of Lars, giving him damage pretty much nearly. But both IRT guys now high up, with Steve now going for the set of softs in P8. He's going to be looking forward to have a great restart here, to move as many positions up as he can. I know he does. I know he loves to overtake the far guys, and he's got to get past both of them on the softs. But this is good for Steve, who started of course later, starting at the back, by having to copy his game, but he's in a good position right now. Jeroen has rejoined back in P10. Back in P10 behind JR. He's gonna have to pass all the guys, but that does mean he's got some laps of fresh tires. Let me check the tire update right now. As you can see, P12 has got 6 lap old mediums. Steve now on 2 lap old softs, but Jeroen on fresh mediums. Marty pretty much on fresh mediums as well, being 3 laps old. Carmen Rob back in the race, but he does have some penalties, so he's got to be aware of that. Ian also back in the race. So this safety car race is going to be interesting for sure. Is Rudiger going for the move? He does have some, he's got 1 lap fresh tires compared to Wouter. And he pitted on the same lap of Lars, so let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. I think the safety car will come in this lap, because the field has bunched up already. There's the Martin safety car, looking very nice there, I must say. Also just saving my voice right now for the safety car restart. No warning yet so far if it's going in this lap. And as we're talking about it, it is going in.
As now safety car is indeed coming in with Wouter leading the field ahead of Rudy Gullit, Lars, Roby, Arkov, Petervol, Timo, Sieb, JR, Jeroen, Esra, Marty, Carvin, Rob, Apsi, Ian and Old School rounding out the grid. I reckon Wouter is gonna go in the middle of the Wall of Champions chicane to call someone out. Also got Ian with a 5-second penalty with collision with Apsi, and like we predicted, he's going on the exit of Wall of Champions, and it's lights out, and away we go again. Flags out again as Ian has got some damage, but great result from Wouter here. Flags away of course, and we go racing again. Good result so far, no particular incident so far. Esra having a 3-second penalty. He's now on the mediums, of course, as now Jeroen around the outside of JR. Both drivers making contact here, leaving the room there, with Esra close behind. And what a move that is from Jeroen. What is incredible move there right there. As now Esra pushed off JR it seems, but great move there from Jeroen. Now Sieb is close behind Arkov, Petervol and the car ahead Timo. As now Marty's now in the battle for P11. With that battle of JR who lost 2 positions in the battle with Esra, so that could be a report coming in right there. But Marty's now got the position. Good for him. Arkov's now got a penalty, so I'm pretty sure he's now on 6 seconds. Let me check the gap, can I see it? Oh, just interval penalties. He's now on 6 seconds, so that's not ideal for him. So as you now check the positions, who's not the most, and it's now Sieb with 9 positions gained, just gaining 1 by passing Timo. Just put on the tire graphic right now. Here we go. But yeah, this bridge is gonna be wide open now. What can Sieb do? Is he gonna pass both LFR guys here? With Wouter in control of the lead, the top 3 guys doesn't seem to be taking a lot of risk here. So who's gonna be the one to take the most risk? I reckon it's just gonna be Sieb, because Sieb is on the softs. He's got to take advantage of that soft call here. And with guys ahead with more penalties than him, he can go for the moves, but of course not pick up too many warnings. Otherwise he's going 6 seconds. As now Jeroen is now close behind the back of Timo. As now DRS is back enabled. As we saw a car hit the wall, we heard it, but not sure what happened there. As now Sieb is very close to the back of Petervol, who just seems to be struggling once again. As Petervol seems to be struggling or lagging also quite a bit. But when is Sieb gonna go for the move here? Softs paying dividends so far. Here as he's now lining up Petervol, it seems like now he's backing off slightly here. Indeed, as he's on board with CPI now. Both drivers in 2nd and 4th, doing pretty well right now. But can they convert this position still? There's still about 16 laps to go as Rudy Gullit looking very close. As we've got a nice camera angle right there from the driver on board. Rudy Gullit is being really focused for this race. He's got really good pace right now. Unfortunately got undercut by Wouter, but he does know now that the undercut is very effective here. And Lars also very quick here. As Sieb, we just said now, if he picks up another penalty, he's gonna move down some positions, and he's picked up another penalty here. Unfortunate for him. Trying to get past Petervol here, just seems to be struggling in the race. And the top 5 guys being so close to each other here. Really in a close battle here. Great racing here from all the guys here. Proving that drivers are now looking more towards the team performances and scoring any point you can instead of just going for your own success, which is of course great to see as well. But the race is not done yet, so expect some moves here and there from all the guys. It's just the top four being so close, with Robbie making a slight mistake there. As now Seep is now lining up Peterville, I think. Both have DRS, but now Peterville using a bit of ERS. Seep does have more ERS. As now Jeroen has got past Timo here. As Seep has made a mistake. Seep has made a slight mistake, losing 3 positions in the meantime. So Isra is now up to 9th place, being behind Timo now. JR struggling. Marty also losing a couple of positions here. With Corbin and Rob in the battle with Apsi here. Both drivers going side by side now. I think we've got a spinner here with all JR, it seems. Indeed, JR spun out the exit of turn 2. Not sure what happened there, but he seems to be fine right now. Now Jeroen is so close behind Peterville. What can he do? Can he overtake Peterville right here? He's using his ERS now into the hairpin now. Going down the inside and making the move stick. No, leaves room for Peterville here. Great respect between both drivers here. But he's got the move done. So up to P6 goes Jeroen. And on fresh tires. So can he go on a set of softs for the end of the race? Now Robbie picks up another penalty here. Now Seep is looking to go past not 1, but maybe 2 drivers, going 3 wide nearly. With Ezra on the outside and Team on the inside, leaving enough room for each other. But what a move from Ezra here. As now Seep is looking to go past Timo as well. The softs are now going off. But Timo's got no ERS anymore, so pretty much. So he's using every bit of charge here, but what a move from Ezra here, up to P8 here for the DRA team. Going around the outside of turn 1 is just an incredible move right here. Because now we're back on board with Jeroen, back in P6. Just behind the guys in the lead and having 5 lap fresher tires. Look at the leaders just being so close to each other. And then the guys behind as well. Just all within 1 second. So the guys without penalties are really going to benefit from this. Now, Adakov, I'm pretty sure got another warning from that. Roby's light is flashing, interestingly. Last isn't. Also, Ruud Gullit is not light is not flashing. I do apologize for my sentence. But Roby seems to be low in ERS and making some mistakes there as well. So one of the few drivers not managing their ERS not that well. And I think Seep's soft tires are now coming to an end. So I expect him to make a pit stop any moment now. Potentially on a set of softs as well. Again, but then again it's slightly too early now, so he's gonna stay at 1 or 2 more laps and then go for a set of softs. With Jeroen, just look at the guys, every lap just surprises me how close the field really is. The Timo and Ezra continuing their battle here for P8. Ezra does have fresher tires, so hopefully he can use that to advantage. With Adakov now taking 4th place from Roby. So Roby moves down to 5th place here. He seems to be struggling here. As Roby actually moved down to 6th place, as Jeroen is overtaking him as well. So Roby losing 2 positions in a less than like a corner. So Jeroen just really sharp on that exit of the corner right to make a move stick. As now Ezra spun! Ezra spun from P8. Ezra has made a mistake unfortunately and now moved down to P13. He was doing really well there, especially from where he was. But just unfortunately spinning out from the race. But he's still in the race. So that promotes Timo back to P8 and Seep to P9. And Carbon Rob interestingly into the points, but He does have more penalties than Apsi and Marty, who are on P11, P12. But that's really important for him right there. As now I think with 11 laps to go, when are we gonna see the guys make a pit stop? As Jeroen now up to 4th place here, passing Adakov here. No penalties as well, having 4 laps fresher tires than the cars ahead. He's looking to be in great shape here for potentially another race win here, or at least a race win for the Relentless team. Relentless with such a great advantage already in the championship, just doing a really good job again. As now actually picks up a penalty. Jeroen picking up a penalty, slightly cutting the corner. We were on board with the driver here. Unfortunate for him right there. But that does mean he's dropping back 3 seconds to the cars ahead. And the cars ahead just don't have penalties. So Jeroen has got to make a 3-second gap here. But if anyone can do it, he can do it surely. So what can Jeroen do? Is he bringing out another undercut here? Apparently it's going to wet. I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, but let's see if it does go to wet. So are the drivers going to stay out if it does go to wet? So that's going to be really interesting if it goes to wet. I hope for Siep's case the safety car or the rain comes quicker. We do see some clouds there, right there, and it's gonna go over the circuit I think any moment now. 5 minutes to go for the rain. So we've got Jeff here in the chat right there, proving that's gonna be rain in 5 minutes. So Siep has got to hope the rain comes quicker than it does, because the mediums can stay out, but his softs will die any moment now. I don't think he can stay out another 6 laps or 5 laps. As Jeroen has made another pass here, getting past Lars here. So as Ian picks up another penalty here, but Jeroen is just picking it off lap per lap. So Jeroen has made a really great comeback by pitting as well, but he does have the 3-second penalty, which Lars does not. So he's just got to stay within the DRS window and he'll get that podium. As we actually see Wouter's light flashing and Ruud Gullit's flashing light not. As we got Timo with a penalty, we saw yellow flag. I think that's Ian has spun on the soft tires, so that does seem the soft tires are dying. But that's, as we now indeed see the clouds going over the circuit here, as it was sunny just a lap ago, but the clouds are coming in now. The sun has gone away, so the rain is coming. The rain is coming here for the drivers, but when is the rain gonna come? How hard is the rain gonna fall here? It's gonna be a very difficult call here for the drivers. But first you have to finish here, so the drivers have to be sharp here. And when the rain's gonna arrive, when do you make that call to make a pit stop to go to the intermediates? And maybe even wet if it goes very wet here, but I don't expect that to be the case. But let's see how this race is gonna end. It's gonna be a very, very exciting end to the race here. Oldskool picking up a penalty. There might be some late safety cars which could spice up the race as well. Oh no, Ruud Gullit going for the lead here. Ruud Gullit taking the lead from Wouter. So CPI taking the lead of Relentless. Adakov picking up another penalty here. Are Relentless now gonna swap here and give Jeroen the fresh tires to his advantage? But Ruud Gullit, is he gonna use the space to advantage? It seems to be very quick here. Is this all gonna happen between Relentless? No, not yet, but Ruud Gullit proving to have made a very good move right there. As we got the first driver to pit for intermediates. Very early here. It's Esra pitting for intermediates. Is it raining already? Is it raining here in Montreal? I don't think it is. We can't switch on board with him quite yet. It's not raining yet, so this is a very early call here. I think these tires will be dry tires within no time. As Carvin Rob has picked up another penalty. I'm pretty sure he's on 12 seconds right now. Let me check the penalty situation right now. Penalties, he's on 9 seconds, so that's not ideal for him to score any points. As indeed Jeroen has now got past Wouter here to chase after Ruud Gullit. So Ruud Gullit thought this was the right moment to go for the move. does have not a lot of ERS, and Jeroen is close behind with 6 laps to go here for this Canadian Grand Prix here. This is gonna be a very spicy Grand Prix with rain coming as well. Who's gonna risk it for the rain tires, the intermediates or the wet tires? Is the rain even gonna fall here? You never know, but we're about to find out with 6 laps to go. As Jeroen seems to have just a lot more grip, it seems, especially pitting after that safety car. Just that 5 lap fresh tires seem to be paying out. As now Ian has spun again, losing his front wing, so his race gone from bad to worse really. He was in the points, but now he's gonna be a lap down any moment now. Pete for picking up a penalty. That's his first of the race. See, plenty of penalties now. Arkov is so close behind Lars. Roby 1 second behind Arkov, so he lost DRS now. Unfortunate for him. Pete as well. Timo and Siep just seem to be struggling on tires. As Jeroen has taken the lead. Jeroen has taken the lead of Ruud de Gullit. Can he now build a 3-second gap here to win the race here? I think he can, because he seems to have great pace. As the rain is falling right here in Montreal with 5 laps to go. He's at a purple final sector here, but the rain is falling. How hard is the rain gonna fall here for the guys? Who's gonna take the most risk? As the conditions are gonna get worse and worse. Jeroen is absolutely flying right here. Already 1.1 seconds clear here from Ruud de Gullit. So his pace is absolutely amazing right now. But what will the rain do? Will the rain be a downfall or a beneficial factor for him? Ezra picking up another penalty. He is waiting for the rain, so gonna be checking his lap times, but he seems to be struggling a lot right now by pitting way too earlier. As Wouter nearly dropping 1 second behind Ruud de Gullit. Ruud de Gullit doesn't have DRS anymore. The rain seems to be falling quite hard right now on the lens of the drivers, so who's gonna be the first one to make that difficult call? I've got a slight lag issue right there, it seems. With Wouter using all of his ERS stick within 1 second behind. Arkov being 1/10 behind. Roby 2 seconds behind, so he's really dropped off there. Doesn't seem to have the time. Keep just waiting for the rain to arrive here. Of course, he started on the medium tire, so he had to pit for the soft tires, unfortunately. And that's bringing difference for him right now. As Timo and Peterful going side by side. Peterful defending for his life, it seems. The drivers are taking it more careful by a second. As now we've got the spinner. If Carvin Rob lost the position. Did he lose his front wing? I think he did. He's moving out the way for Marty here. And the rain is getting heavier and heavier here for the dry tires. The grip is gonna get worse and worse. Let me check the sector times from some of the guys. As Apsi, how many seconds is he losing? Old School spinning, or JR, yeah, they're losing 3 seconds. The rain is getting worse and worse. As Ezra spun, I think he's ready for intermediates actually. Who's gonna make the call? It's Jeroen going into the pits. All of them are going into the pits, so it's all inters right now. Peterful is also going into the pits. Oh my god, Nilo broke himself, so all the guys are now going for intermediates. So some guys must surely double stack right now. But now we're getting yellow flags. Just all the grip is going pretty much. And some guys indeed have to double stack. So this is the savior of Siep. But Apsi is staying out on the... Marty is also staying out. So they've got 2 guys staying out with 3 laps to go. What can they do? They don't have any penalties. So if they can keep temperature in their tires, what can they do? Can they potentially still get a podium? But they're losing a lot of time right now compared to Jeroen. But Ruud de Gullit seems to be struggling in the wet, so you never know what's gonna happen here. With 2 laps to go after this, could be this a genius strategy call. It's looking very wet right now, so it's gonna be very thick for those guys. As Ian is retired in the pits. He was of course a lap down. Ruud de Gullit picking up 3-second penalty. So that does mean Wouter will gain that position. But so far, Ruud de Gullit is just not gaining the time here to Marty. So if Marty and Apsi can keep grip on those tires, they will get a podium here, but Jeroen has already made that move against Apsi, as the DRS is now disabled here, so the guys can't use. As now Marty's going to the pits, it's way too wet it seems, so Apsi's call, his risk might be jeopardized here, as he's just struggling so much. So is Ruud Gullit here. No pace in the wet it seems, as Adakov is also just pretty much being a boss for you, Wouter here. As Wouter's got a lot more traction here it seems, and back up to 4th place he goes. But what can Ruud Gullit do? Can he pass Apsi with no danger at all? So Marty took the risk, didn't pay off, but he did make a pit stop, so he will gain that position to Apsi, who's surely gonna have to make a pit stop here. Well, actually, with 1 lap to go after this, he's probably just gonna stay out. But the grip, he just doesn't have any grip compared to the other guys here. As is getting overtaken left, right, and center here. With Wouter now up to 2nd, Ruud Gullit just doesn't have the pace here. As we got Old School has spun in the wet. As we've got a lot of battles. Adakov actually stayed out on the in the dry tires as well. So guys behind him will gain from that as well. So Marty will move up to 9th at least, I think. Roby in the battle with Timo. Both has 6 seconds, so this is for position here. As Apsi needs staying out, just having no grip. Actually making contact with Roby. As he's making contact again! And he spun! What has happened there? Between Roby, Timo and just no grip for Apsi and collecting Roby. So that meant Seabass gains positions. Adakov struggling so much. Marty on the Inters has now overtaken Apsi, and is probably going to overtake Roby as well, who has got damage. But what a crazy ending right here. What can Lars and Wouter do? Because of course the leaders have 3-second penalties, and it looks like they are gaining. Timon up to 5th place with C behind, and Adakov still in 7th, but no traction at all. So he's probably going to let his teammates go. What an absolutely crazy end right here. With Jeroen in the hairpin. I think he's got enough of a gap right here to Wouter to have the win, at least. As now he's going onto the back straight right now, here for Jeroen. An absolutely brilliant drive here for Jeroen. Going to the final corner right now. Jeroen to the final corner is gonna win the Canadian Grand Prix here for Relentless ahead of Ruud Gullit, which will turn into a 1-2 for Relentless, with BNL Lars on the podium, Ruud Gullit finishing in 4th, Timo in 5th, Siep in 6th most likely, if Petervol can stick within 6 seconds. As Adakov picked up another penalty, it's actually Petervol in 6th place and Siep in 7th. Roby actually keeping the position to Marty, but Marty moving up to 8th place right here. So 7th and 8th for IRT is very good position for them, especially where they were. But I don't think Roby will be very happy with Apsi here. But Apsi didn't have any traction and just lost it and collected both of them. Adakov took a risk as well and ended up in 10th place, getting a penalty on the final lap. But what a crazy ending right there. With again another Relentless 1-2. These guys seems to be unstoppable right now. As actually we got update on Adakov, he selected the soft tires instead of the intermediate, so that means that's how crazy it really was out there. It was crazy ending right there, but the drivers proving to be fairly clean apart from one incident. But here's the podium right now. It's a different, that's not a Relentless suit, I think so, but what a race that was right there. I think that race was just absolutely crazy with a fully Dutch podium as well. With of course Wouter, Jeroen and Lars, most typical Dutch names probably. But that race was just absolutely crazy. Hopefully everyone enjoyed as well. I think I'm just gonna head off because what a crazy race here with Jeroen taking the win ahead of Wouter,
actually, and then Lars in third, Ruud in fourth, Timo in fifth. So I think that's a top 5 Dutch podium or finish there, with Piet Vos sixth, Sieb in seventh, Marty in 8th, Roby in 9th, Adekov in 10th. Let me just quickly scroll down. Carvin Rob in 11th, Apsi 12th, JR in 13th, Esra in 14th, Oldskool 15th, Ian having DNF'd in 16th, and Felix Owen causing the first safety car, retiring as well. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. We're just gonna quickly end it right there. Yeah, there we go. Great race right there. Hopefully everyone enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next week for... Let me check the... Let me check this calendar, which will be Baku next week. Baku will be next week's. Will be up next week, so hopefully everyone's looking forward to that and getting enough practice in. See you guys next week, and have a good evening still. Bye guys.